Welcome to That's My Line. Tonight on this stage, you are going to meet a man who claims he can move physical objects using only the powers of his mind. The line featured the world-famous magician, the amazing Randi. Well, we invited him back tonight for a very special reason. Here he is, the amazing Randi. You have been touring our country performing as a magician, but you have also been debunking psychics, haven't you?
I have indeed.
Would you explain to our audience why you devote so much time to this crusade of yours?
Well, I'll tell you, Bob, I feel it's a very serious matter to be particularly raising a younger generation who are being led to believe by some incompetent and not very bright, in some cases, magicians and scientists at the same time, that there are such things as psychic powers. I've looked for it for a long time now, and I have not found anything in 35 years. And I think that particularly a younger generation being told that these things are real will not be raised in such a way that they can deal with a rational, logical, real world.
And you have offered $10,000 to anyone who can perform a psychic feat.
I have indeed, and I carry the check with me.
I hope you have the check with you tonight, because we have a young man who claims to be able to move objects with his mind. What I would like to have you do is to go backstage and watch carefully as I ask this young man to demonstrate his psychic powers.
Very well, I will.
Make yourself comfortable in front of a monitor.
Thank you.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to meet a very interesting young man. He is only 21 years old. He's from Salt Lake City, and he's the founder of the Institute of Shaolin Kung Fu, and the subject of much controversy. Welcome, James Hydrick. Welcome to That's My Line. All of us are very pleased, not just pleased, but excited to have you with us. Now, you claim to have psychic powers, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Is this something that you have discovered recently, or have you known of it since childhood? How did it all begin?
Well, everyone's born with it. It's just a matter of development.
How did you develop your psychic power?
Well, through background and through training from an old Chinese master.
What sort of training?
Martial arts, kung fu, and laws of nature.
Well, what was necessary to develop the psychic power? What did this martial arts training do for you, I mean?
Well, it teaches you to recognize yourself, inner and outer self, to reach the fourth level of consciousness, matching the absence of the mind to the motions of the body.
And you say that we all have this power?
Everyone has it.
And each of us could develop it?
Absolutely.
Now, you are going to demonstrate this psychic power on That's My Line.
Yes.
What are you going to do, James?
I'm going to move a pencil for you.
With just psychic powers?
Just psychic powers.
Very well. Here's a pencil, James. Show us. James, that pencil definitely moved. Now, is it true that you can also turn the pages of this telephone directory?
Yes, it is.
And you will do that for us?
I'll try.
Should I take the pencil off the table?
Yes.
All right. There you are, James.
You would like to open it to any page, or should you want me to do it?
I'll be happy to.
Okay, let's get it. I'll get it. Ready?
All right. James, you turned the page of the telephone directory. Now, these demonstrations, you did these same demonstrations on That's Incredible.
Yes, I did.
And as you know, the amazing Randi maintains that you did not use psychic power, but that it was trickery. And he is prepared to pay you $10,000 if you can do it using psychic power. Later in our show, you two will meet head to head, and we will test your psychic powers to the nth degree. And I know that you at home are not going to want to miss that. Once again, here is the man who claims to have psychic powers, James Hydrick. James, welcome back to our stage. You did a most impressive demonstration earlier in our show. If you saw it, I'm sure you were impressed. If you did not, let me explain that James moved a pencil without touching it, and James turned the page of a telephone directory without touching it. And you claim to have done that with psychic power.
Yes.
Now, you're prepared to demonstrate your psychic powers again. You've warmed up. You're ready to go, are you, James? Very well. Let's welcome back a man who has made a name for himself as a master trickster and the author of Flim Flam, the amazing Randi. Welcome back. James, Randi. Now, you saw James' demonstration from backstage.
Yes, I did.
And do you accept that as a demonstration of psychic power, or do you believe that he used trickery?
I don't accept it as a demonstration of psychic power, Bob. I think that the solution is rather simple. I think that Mr. Hydrick is merely, to accomplish this effect, blowing on both the page and on the pencil.
I see. Now, you originally asked him to demonstrate in two different ways his psychic power. But as I understand it, you are now prepared to waive the demonstration with the pencil.
Yes, and the reason is rather simple, because the pencil reacts to even the currents of the air conditioning in this studio. It would be very difficult to try to put controls on it in such a way that normal currents of air that are present all the time would not move the pencil. For example, it moves very, very easily.
All right, you're not going to ask him to do that. That's one down, one to go, James. You are prepared to pay him $10,000 if he can turn the page of the telephone directory with certain controls.
That's
Is that
right.
You have the $10,000, do you, Randi?
I do indeed. It's right here. I've carried this check now for going on 17 years, Bob. There it is, a check for $10,000 awardable to the gentleman should he be able to successfully perform the demonstration.
I would like to introduce our panel of judges. And our first judge here, Dr. John Palmer, is a psychologist and professor of parapsychology at John F. Kennedy University. The seat right there, Dr. Palmer. We have Dr. Stephen Drake, astronomer and expert on stellar evolution at UCLA. And our third judge is Dr. Ronald Markman, assistant clinical professor of psychiatry at USC.
Since my theory, as yet unproven, of course, is that it's accomplished simply by blowing, though rather cleverly, I must admit, done, there should be a way, a simple way, without a lot of instrumentation, to demonstrate that fact by using one very simple control.
Now, let me just emphasize that this one control will not stop him from turning the page of the telephone directory.
That's right.
But you hope to the judge's satisfaction will demonstrate that he is doing it with his breath.
That's correct.
All right.
Now what I have here is particles of a white plastic, which when given a good puff, good heavy puff of air, will, I think, rather conclusively show whether or not blowing is a method accomplished. Now it will not perhaps in some way differentiate between genuine psychic power and actual blowing, but it certainly should be very interesting indeed to see what now occurs.
Well, do you maintain that if the page of the telephone directory turns, that we will see movement in the styrofoam as well?
I think that it's pretty logical. We've experimented with it, Bob, and that's what we have determined in the experiments.
Very well. Are you ready to proceed?
I am indeed.
Judges, you're ready? James?
Ready? How many times am I going to have to do this? Once?
This time.
How many pages?
Just one page, once.
This time and once more.
Now, James, you had another question.
Mm-hmm.
What would you like to
Okay.
ask?
The styrofoam and the lights form electricity which pulls the page. Look. It pulls the page down instead of freeing the pages.
All right. And what would you like to ask us to ask Randy to allow you to do or for me to
To
do?
either take something else, either lighter or something that is going to keep, that isn't going to form like static electricity.
You mean put something else, some other material around
Something
here?
that is not foam. Foam causes static electricity, and the lights is what heats it up.
All right, Randy, is there anything else that you can put around the telephone directory?
I've heard the question, but the question is not valid because it's making an assumption which is not true. The foam does not in any way create static electricity, and Mr. Hydrick, in demonstrating that the pages were clinging together, didn't demonstrate it to my satisfaction. I think we could perhaps ask the judges for their opinion on that. I am not a scientist, so I'm not qualified to declare on it.
Judges?
Whatever static electricity exists in the styrofoam would not really affect the movement of the page or the clinging of the pages together, in my opinion.
I would add that if this is in fact psychic functioning, I don't really see why that would make a difference.
Very well. Randy, would you allow me to turn perhaps half dozen pages and then put them back?
Oh, yes, you may do that, please.
James? I'll just lift up 1, 2.
Lift them in a bunch, if you would, Bob. Just take about a quarter of an inch of them.
All right, there, like that?
That's fine. Gently, place them down gently so it doesn't disturb the foam. I know, I thought you
Oh, the
wanted
other
to place
way?
them- Yeah, the other way. That's what I thought you meant.
Would that
Sure.
be helpful to you?
The static is going to still be here because of the foam. See, that's what
Well,
I'm
it is the
saying.
opinion of the judges that there is not enough static formed by the foam to be a problem. So, under the conditions agreed upon, it would seem that now you should at least try with psychic power to turn the page of the telephone directory, James.
Okay.
It's not going to turn for you?
No, it isn't.
Well, have you reached the point then when, at which we can declare the demonstration terminated?
This isn't a magician's trick. I can't just come up, bang, bang, and it's over. I have to be to where I can work with something small and then big, you know, to build up my own self. So this is, you know, it isn't a trick. It has to be done. You know, this is just, it's power. It's mental power.
The conditions agreed upon have been fulfilled. And, of course, we can't change the conditions now in midstream. So, in the opinion of our judges here, you have not seen a demonstration of psychic power, have you?
Yes, that's correct.
You have not. And, Randy, obviously, James has not won the $10,000 with this demonstration.
So it seems.
Now, you have heard what James's explanation is. Do you have any comment to make on that?
Bob, the comment very briefly is that I have gone through many hundreds of these tests with many hundreds of people who claim to have psychic powers. And quite frankly, it's more or less the same story every time. When a simple, direct, very uncomplicated protocol is used and the control is applied, the psychic forces don't seem to be present, if indeed they are ever present at all. I still look for some sort of evidence of psychic powers. To date, I have not found any. Up to this very moment, I am still totally unconvinced.
Judges, do you have any further comment to make? You agree that you have not seen a psychic demonstration?
Yes, I would agree that I have not seen a psychic demonstration. I would like to say that as a parapsychologist, I believe that there are other evidence under controlled conditions that do demonstrate, I would think, to a reasonable person that psychic phenomena do exist.
Yes.
But obviously not in this demonstration.
I want to thank you very much. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, James Hydrick. Before I say goodbye to you, Randy, I do indeed appreciate the fact that you joined us on That's My Line. Dr. Palmer, Dr. Drake, Dr. Markman, thank you so much. Thank you, Randy. We'll be back after these challenging messages.
They can deal with a rational, logical, real world.
And you have offered $10,000 to anyone who can perform a psychic feat.
I have indeed, and I carry the check with me.
I hope you have the check with you tonight, because we have a young man who claims to be able to move objects with his mind. What I would like to have you do is to go backstage and watch carefully as I ask this young man to demonstrate his psychic powers.
Very well, I will.
Make yourself comfortable in front of a monitor. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to meet a very interesting young man. He is only 21 years old. He's from Salt Lake City, and he's the founder of the Institute of Shaolin Kung Fu, and the subject of much controversy. Welcome, James Hydrick. The powers of his mind. Line featured the world-famous magician, the amazing Randi. Well, we invited him back tonight for a very special reason. Here he is, the amazing Randi. Welcome back to That's My Line. Now, you have been touring our country performing as a magician, but you have also been debunking psychics, haven't you?
I have indeed.
Would you explain to our audience Welcome to That's My Line. Tonight on this stage, you are going to meet a man who claims he can move physical objects using only... That's why you devote so much time to this crusade of yours?
Well, I'll tell you, Bob, I feel it's a very serious matter to be particularly raising a younger generation who are being led to believe by some incompetent and not very bright, in some cases, magicians and scientists at the same time, that there are such things as psychic powers. I've looked for it for a long time now, and I have not found anything in 35 years. And I think that particularly a younger generation being told that these things are real will not be raised in such a way that